Hi there, I'm Alex D. Well, I haven't recorded myself doing the extraction process on the Payday 2 models and sounds. We shall call it assets because that's what it is basically, and there's gonna be a folder called exactly that, assets. And just in case I forget how it's done, or maybe you're interested in how the porting actually happens. It's quite a subject actually, and I'm going to cover most of the process really. Probably start with sounds because that's um, shorter, quicker kinda to do than the whole model texture assembling process and all that. And well, let's just reset that now. What we're going to do now is well. Uh, Actually, I'd like to shout out for the guy who makes the hash lists for Payday 2. Downloads. It's some bundle modder. Yeah, this pretty large file. It's actually a text file. So imagine, you know, a common text document being so full of random stuff, so it actually it's quite a long file and it occupies 22 megabytes on your disk, and that's a lot of text. That's a lot of text, and so every time the game gets an update which brings new content, like DLCs, model updates, and all that. Especially the DLCs. The main reason why I could do the Payday 2 M60 model and what else? The Raffica, yeah, the Raffica, the Beretta 93R, also known as Bernetti Auto, and how I'm able to do that is I'm just basically googling for Payday 2 hash list. I'm googling for Payday 2 hash list. Google, yeah. Luffy, this is the guy. This is the absolute champion of Payday 2 modding. Who, when the hmm, fugitive. I'm just not sure. I just need it real quick. Unfortunately, Google Translate takes a while to load, but it's fine. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need the word play
Fugitive.
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 Fugitive. All right. So fugitive it is. Fugitive weapon pack, I think it's called. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, another pack, another small pack of weapons. It has the Remington 700. Wow, that's nice. The M60. Wow, that's just great. Even if it's a reskin of some other machine gun, I don't care. It's a fucking M60. Come on, man. What's not to love? And what else? What else was there? I don't remember. Something else. It also had a stock for the M14 or M308 as the game calls it. What else was in the pack? I don't remember. The Hudson H9 pistol, also known as Halt. Maybe someday I'll port that as well. Anyway, when the DLC was released and I actually bought it, I was like, did the guy update the hash list? And this thing said 11 minutes ago when I searched for it, and I was like, wow, this is wow, this is just Luffy is a great, he's a fast mover. So hash list. This is I think you need to save object as, and it says it's, I don't know. Let's just try and save it. Oh, what does it save to us? HTM still? How do I download this stuff? I don't remember. Yeah, that's not it. It's supposed to be a large file. Okay, let me remember what I don't remember. Go to file maybe. I do not remember. This is why I should totally there's a small button that says download, and it's actually smaller for some reason than my file, but okay. Anyway, we press download and it's gonna do what it's gonna do, I guess. This is why I should record these videos, because oh my god, no, it's going to open it. So right click and save as. Not again. Fuck you, man. I don't know, txt. Save. Yep. Oh, that's 2 megs. That's just 2. Okay, I wanna see it because it says 19 euro. No, I don't want a euro. Hash list, and oh, it's larger than life actually. It well, okay, I'm fine with that. And yep, this is not how it actually looks like, because the default what's his name, notepad is bullshit. It's kind of bad, so you totally have to use notepad++ or something like that. Actually, notepad++ it seems to be the go-to notepad replacer, with pretty much every single imaginable language built into that. And by language I mean HTML, C++, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, yeah, that's more like it. And let's see. Parts for weapons. For some reason they're not kinda. Okay, let's search for M60. Yep, we just found our M60 machine gun. Its barrel, its or whatever, and the name of the DLC folder, because you know it's not just son of a bitch, fugitive, I think. It's not just called fugitive, it's called ATW, whatever that means, whatever SUS means, and all other stuff. So some of these DLCs are actually named like Casino. I think the Casino Heist, yeah, DLC Casino. So you can figure this out. But Bex, what the hell is Bex? What the hell is Pex? Uno, PPH. So this is one of the reasons well, this file is necessary. That's all I have to say actually. So back to our Diesel bundle modder. That's what we need. We need to download that. Use the power of Google for that. And once you have the hash list, you need to launch bundle mod patcher. And I don't remember if you have to do some first time settings setup. okay, whatever. And we need we pretty much don't need anything right now. If we want to I don't remember if I actually set up something there. I just don't, so forgive me for that. Maybe there's a tutorial on that. I would advise you to not treat any of my videos as tutorials. Game file extraction. We don't need to set anything that actually. All we need is to check this. Use every bundle. So let me do this real quick. This is our Payday 2 folder, soundtrack and all that. Assets. Assets is what we want to see. And this is a lot of bundles. That's just a shit ton of bundles. And as you can see, they have pretty imaginative names. So this is my extract folder, and if you were to count all these bundles, that's almost 10,000 bundles, and that's a lot of space on your HDD. So when you export all stuff from here, it's not even 50 gigabytes anymore, it's 65. So be prepared to actually have this much space on your drives, and I have it on E, so I have this much space. Actually, I have everything extracted already, but I have enough space to do this again. So then you press start and pretty much, I don't know, go to sleep, go to eat, go to take a dump or whatever, because this is gonna take a good old time. And when it's done, it's gonna probably say some errors were taking place, and well, you'll get this folder extract. It's also full of crap that doesn't seem to have any real meaning to it, because it's not, I don't know, identified or whatever. But that's probably nothing too important, because what's important lies in our units folder and soundbanks folder. For starters, I'm going to use soundbanks, and we'll need, what we'll need for that. What do I use for the sounds? I had it somewhere. I just don't remember anymore. I just did some sound portings earlier. Was it a wave? No, that wasn't a wave. Definitely wasn't an Arc Explorer, because that's probably for Titan Quest. No, that's not it either. That's definitely not it. It's something that has something to do with the flash drives revival, but it didn't work ultimately in my case. Sound tools? Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember where I got that, but you probably can figure this out without me. Anyway, you see a bunch of folders in there, a batch file, an exe, a shortcut that pretty much does the same thing as the batch file, and I don't remember why I left this here, because you will need the batch file and the exe. And there's a couple of banks, B and K files. They are the sound banks. And what else? How to is my file, and I left it in case I forget what's going to happen in there. Sound banks. This is an important file, and what we're going to do, well, for this particular episode, we're going to use we're going to port the Eagle Heavy rifle, which is the Scar H, and oh yeah, that's Scar. It's most likely Scar. What else can it be? It could be anything, but I mean, what do you think is weapon flint? Okay, Amcar, Deagle, Glock, GL40 is obviously a grenade launcher. L85 is Queen's Wrath. M60 MP9 is CMP. Sub 2000 is this casino heist folding thingy. Cavity, I think it was called. You know, it takes Glock magazines and doesn't have a front side blade. Okay, so Flint is the AK-70 as the game calls it, and well, that's the AK-12, the final 2016 version, which is nothing else but the AK-400, which is a real downgrade to the great AK-12 rifle. But that's Russia for everyone. Anyway, let's find our weapon scar. And I don't know. I have been mentioning flint and sealed stone. Do I have a sealed stone in there? No, I don't. I do have a sealed stone in there. It's also from the Russian weapon pack, which is PD2 DLC GRV, Gauge Russian V. It's not W, it's not weapons, so it's weapons, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, now that we have copied the sound banks in there, we need to actually mention them in sound banks text file. It's weapon scar, and in case you are afraid of making a typo, you can just copy the file name, you know, because sealed stone, it has something to do with fire, I suppose. As many sound banks as you want, close it, and now sound file editor, I think. Okay, let's see the file. Launch sound file editor, yeah, without extensions, right, and then everything else. We launch sound file editor, and it only says two things, and after that you have to close it manually, but okay. It actually has exported everything. Let's see, weapon scar, some with text file, we don't need that, and a bunch of streams and another text file, which we also don't really need in this case. Well, that's just great. Now we had a BNK file. Now we have a bunch of stream files. This is just great. Now, well, this part is a little weird. Well, at least that's how I do that. Maybe there is some much better way to do this, but select the converter batch file and the wwise IMA ADPSM PCM exe and copy that into our folder. Not the shortcuts, just the actual files. I'll delete the shortcuts. Now launch the batch file and let it do its magic. Ta-da! Now I have a bunch of wave files. Let's just see what they mean. That's not a lot of files actually. This is a bunch of foreign sounds, and I'm not sure if it has the reload sound. My sound player takes a while. It takes a lot. Come on, man. That's. Oh, that sounded perfect. Also, well, that's more like it. Anyway, these are some foreign sounds. Some of them are suppressed, some of them are something else entirely, and there is no reload sounds in there. I don't even have to check these ones out because the reload sounds are, well, if you don't see them somewhere in the middle, no, they are not happening in the end either. Now we have checked everything. Anyway, we have a nice sound somewhere, so that's good enough, I guess. But okay. So basically, yeah. Um, well, as you can see, this one has a lot more string files, and I already have renamed some of the converted files into something more sensible. Uh, okay, clip out. I named them clip because, you know, Valve doesn't differentiate clips from magazines. Nobody does, but I do. Clip out, clip in, clip locked, bolt back, bolt forward. And there are some firing sounds. I chose these ones. And ultimately I chose one of those because, you know, I don't know why would you make so many pretty much identical firing sounds and not let the game engine do some weird mixing and whatnot. But okay, not every sound bank has the reloading sounds. Some weapons share the reloading sounds, and that's still something for me to figure out how to get that. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the sound extraction. That's not too complicated. It's kind of hacky, and maybe I don't understand something, but well, that's how I do this. Maybe there is definitely a better way, but anyway, we can close that now. What we need now is the diesel model tool. I don't know if I should update the hashes file. Probably not. Anyway, it works, so let's run the model parser, and I have already forgotten where did I find the scar file. Okay, we don't need that anymore. Let's check the assets, extract units. By the way, speaking of DLCs, that's a shit ton of DLCs. Seriously, not all of them are DLCs. Some of them are free updates. Anyway, that's a lot. Anyway, most of them are masks, but you know, there's plenty of guns in there. Gauge historical. That's pretty clear what it does. Dragon. It has a couple of weapons for Dragon. The Croatian rifle and his meat cleaver, because, you know, butcher and all that. And then we have ICC, Jolly. I think no, it wasn't Jolly. It was something else. Mad is, as I remember, you know, yeah, as you can see, a bunch of NPC Russian weapons, which are used in I think it's Bowling Point. You know, the heists contracted by Jimmy with the Russian mercenaries and all that. So they have Russian weaponry and all that, and an SVD which is not actually an SVD, but I can show that. Actually, I have ported these weapons already, and the game calls it the AKMSU, which could be the AKM with a folding stock. This model has no stock whatsoever, and U is for shortened, which could or could not exist in reality, but this one is a tactical version, really. And this is a weapon used by the cloaker. I don't really know why a cloaker would use something unwieldy with a solid wooden stock. an RPK. This comes from a different heist, but whatever. This is probably used by the shields. I don't remember actually. And this is what the game calls an SVD, and it's suppressed version as well from something else. This is definitely a VSS stock, and well, this is definitely not an SVD. Absolutely not. The magazine on the SVD is further from the trigger guard, and well, this is definitely this is oh crap. Well, this is a pretty low quality texture. It's obvious that this is an AK and not an SVD. Well, it's obvious for somebody who actually knows stuff about weapons, but you know, this is an AKM muzzle brake and this is an AK handguard. It's longer than usual, but still. Anyway, I'm kinda deviating from the subject and reset. What we are going to do now is figure out. Let's just search for Scar. And while it does that, we are going to talk about something that would definitely help you find the stuff. It already found our Scar, but whatever. It's because I have indexed this folder and it's pretty quick to find it. Also, there's this Scar used by Murky Water Goons. That's a low poly model NPC weapons. I'm going to remake this in HD of sorts, and I'm probably going to remake this at some point. But for now, I'm going to use the basic Eagle Heavy, which actually has the charging handle on the left, and it has an angled foregrip. You know about the angled foregrips. There is an animation set that could be of use actually, which is the so-called Mark 20 from Mr. Brightside. LT Rocky did a port from Insurgency. Mr. Brightside's Insurgency mod of similar name, and it's kind of slow because I have some downloads right now. Anyway, it has an angled foregrip and a bit of crazy ass recoil. So you know who showed up to save the day? Denny. Denny actually made a much tamer recoil animation, I guess, and was a good enough lad to share the source file, so we're going to use that. We're going to make something similar, but with, you know, Payday 2 textures and maybe even the sound if I figure out the reloads. Maybe I'll just rip it from the YouTube video, which shows all the reloading and firing sounds. That's also a way to do it. A bit hacky. Again, I'm saying hacky because I like being hacky. What's going on? Nothing. Later. Anyway, this also has the laser sight in a different place. In game, it's on the right rail, which is missing the rail cover, and on the NPC version, it's here, and it's hideously low poly. But I could remake that probably, except it's a bit differently finished. It's more of a painted over. It seems that it used to be. Oh, I forgot about that. Anyway, it seems it used to be black and then painted over with some desert tan kind of color. Whenever I enter the material editor for the first time in 3ds Max, it does this. It's taken a while. Anyway, well, I am going to visit the Payday wiki. Payday wiki. and I'm going to look for the scar. No, I'm not going to look for the scar because that's obvious. I'm going to look for AK-17, previously mentioned, and which is this car? I think it's this one. Up pack, and now we can render that. No, well, that's not an improvement. Yeah, that's not an improvement. But anyway, you can see it's black and then painted over, and some of the paint has peeled or worn away. Whatever. All right. We're going to use the English wiki because I didn't learn English to read Russian versions of the sites, and you know uh, use Russian versions of Windows and Steam and whatever else. And it's taking a while again, and I don't know what I'm going to tell you meanwhile. Anyway, what we need is try not to laugh too hard on ass, because ass is for assault. Yeah, that's hilarious as fuck. You can hear that I cannot keep a straight face. Anyway, we need the one that says PTS, which is for parts, because this contains pretty much nothing. Oh, it contains a model. No, it doesn't. It really not what you're looking for. What we want is this bunch of texture files. We have already encountered that in my previous videos. And the model files. Model. Anyway, where the hell are we? We can check the properties and see it's Payday 2 DLC December 5. Go figure. Anyway, let's go back and just open folder location and DLC December 5, yeah. And it has all the stuff. What was it? MP7, Scar. It was some sort of gauge weapon pack, I think. Anyway, regardless of that, let's see what we have here. It's easier. Sometimes it's easier to judge by the textures. Whatever assembly is, flash is the flash hider. Front is front. Lower is the lower receiver. Mag. Rail extension. Now I don't know what front is, but it's probably something scary, because if that's not the rail extension, it's going to be gas block maybe, and that's just bad. Rail cover has a separate texture. Interesting. Rear sight. Sniper stock probably. Standard stock and the upper receiver. And now we have a bunch of models. We can sort by type and just sort all the models in one place. Where are the models? Here they are. Okay, long barrel, medium, short, standard body, rail extension, magazine, nozzle. NS is nozzle. I don't know, but whatever. Short, standard. That's odd. O is for optic. Flip ups, stock sniper, stock standard, and that's pretty much it. Which is quite a lot of parts. This is not too good, but anyway, let's sort by name again, because we're going to see some differences in what's going to happen anyway. Actually, let's just leave this folder and go to our working folder somewhere, which in my case is here, firearms. Let's create a new one, call it Scar H, because that's what the gun is actually called. And okay, later we've just prepped our working folder, and let's browse for these. I've pressed it twice, didn't I? And let's go to our units folder and locate our scar, and it was December 5. Yeah, maybe it's not December, maybe it's deck 5, but what else can deck be if not December? Scar parts and diesel model. Let's just do this with every model in there and see what happens later. As you can already see, it's some sort of OBJ file object. You just press browse, select the file, and it already is exported. It already is converted to OBJ. I'm not sure if it does something else, but apparently it doesn't. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's something important, but I don't know. So maybe I'll figure it out later, but I'm not ready to experiment right now. And what else? Where was I? A bit of random digressions. No, not digressions. Interruptions. Anyway, I just can't record a video in peace because it's a madhouse in here, in there, really. Body. Foregrip, rail extension. Magazine standard. Little short. I'm not sure if they are different. But okay. Flip down sides, flipped up sides, sniper stock, and the standard stock. And we're pretty much done in there. We can close our model tool. Now let's do this in a different way, like this. I wish I had a bigger screen, a wide screen for that matter. And select our diffuse and normal maps. We are not going to need the CC textures right now. I kinda know what that is, but we're not going to use that. It's usually used for skins. I've mentioned that before because I was just going to say, you know, skins. And I've already said that before. And let's select the OBJ files. We don't need the pattern UV files. We just need those files. All of them. I could have sorted them by type again, but I'm an idiot, so we're doing this the hard way. Now what? We have a bunch of models and a bunch of textures. 11 of those, 11 pairs, 11 couples of textures and 12 models, which pretty much, no, it doesn't. It's weirder than that because I don't see a barrel texture, which is probably front, a part of front. Okay, we'll figure this out later. I'm going to sort by type anyway and see if I messed it up. I want this to say 24. It's 24. I'm good. And let's rename the diffuse maps extensions from textures into DDS. This is going to help us see what's going on. What have we just exported? Rail extension, rail cover, rear side. Oh, front is the front side. Oh, assembly is probably the barrel assembly because we have upper and lower, yeah. Okay, we'll figure this out, and it's probably going to be crazy. And by crazy I mean it's going to need some model cutting into pieces. or maybe not in this case. When I made my KSP 58, you know, the M240 Bravo machine gun that was recolored into the Swedish green lacquer. And all right, let me just. I had to actually fix some, not UV maps, but some models used more than one texture, and I had to split it. But we'll see if this one is as messed up as the other one. Okay, let's import the long barrel. Yep. Maximize viewport. And okay, so the barrel and the gas block is one and the same. Let's start naming our materials already. It's gonna be Payday 2 Scar barrel double R barrel. Yep, because we only have one barrel assembly texture. It's assembly, right? Okay, let's name it not just barrel, it's barrel assembly, because you know it's a barrel assembly. And still nothing, so we need to show shaded material in viewport. And either we do this way or this way, it doesn't really matter, but it's better if you do this for the material rather than the bitmap, because if you have, you know, specular normal maps and all that, it's going to render the whole material as opposed to just the bitmap. And we can also set the bitmap's alpha source to none in case we would want to render it, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to render the transparent parts as something real white. And if we set this to opaque, it's going to render it normally. And what else did I want? Also this red part also shows in the material lists, so that's great. This is our long barrel, and we are going to name it right away as B long. Let's continue importing the stuff. Medium barrel, and it's gonna use the same material. It's using a different material, but we are going to apply assign material to selection, and now we have the same material for both barrel assemblies. We're going to rename this to barrel medium. Let's save the file already because I had power outages in there. Scar H Payday 2. Save often. And now the short barrel, which is, yep, you guessed that, we need to apply the same material in there and rename it to B short, so that we would see that that's barrel and not something else, because it's going to have a lot of parts in there. It's going to be real hot. Scar body standards. Body, bolt, cover. Cover is probably the rail cover. Bolt is, you know, the bolt, and body is, whoa. If body is now both the upper and lower receiver, we are going to have a bad time. But let's crud. Also, we don't have a grip. That's because the Eagle Heavy Rifle has a rubber grip by default. We have to find this thing. Yep, we have to find it. Also, I'm not sure if we'll also have to find the angled grip in there. Is there no ejection part modeled in there? Okay, that's not too important, I guess. Anyway, we can already see Well, it's untextured, but it's obvious that these rails, pretty flat rails, but that's that's all right for Payday 2 models. They have no rail covers by default. Here's our cover, and it's a left cover. The right one has no cover by default. We can already, it's in the middle. We can already move it over here, kinda, and over here, so that it actually covers our rail. We'll figure out the exact position later when we have the time and opportunity to do so. It's probably something like this. It's probably easier when we have the textures applied. What's the bolt? Is it the bolt handle? Yes, that's the bolt handle. But I have no idea where to place the bolt handle because there is nothing modeled in there. These models look great in game, but they are pretty low poly, you know. This is actually quite an achievement to make something such a low poly but looking good anyway, providing plenty of gun porn. Anyway, I didn't say that. Now let the fun begin, because we don't just have body, we have lower receiver and upper receiver. It's going to be fun. The lower receiver is the lesser part, so we are going to use the upper texture in there. Let's just copy this part of our material name in there. Scar. Upper. Scar upper. That's it. And this. And as you can see, the lower receiver also is trying real hard to use the upper receiver texture, and so does the rail cover. We'll fix that in a minute. Well, it's easier for the rail cover, but for the lower receiver it's going to be something else, and I'm glad this happened so I can show you what we're going to do about that. Anyway, now I can see on the texture where the bolt handle is supposed to go. That's great. Somewhere like this, and over here. It's easier when it's flat color. I don't know if it's supposed to clip in there or stick out a bit. Whoops. Like this, almost in the middle. And that's just great. Oh, is that a hollow? Is it hollow, or is it actually inverted, mirrored, or whatever? Interesting. Okay, we'll figure this out later. This is not important right now. It definitely kinda looks like it's supposed to face the other way, because it's definitely not supposed to be that hollow. Whatever. We have a rail cover to fix, and for that we're just going to create a separate material. Oh, by the way, speaking of materials, let's just move these three in a different group. Rail cover. That's just a rail cover. Paste cover. Let's just name it cover for easier identification. Let's select it. We're going to select this now and assign material to selection. Booyah! We have a rail cover textured. By the way, if you watched my earlier videos, like the striker one, and I was welding the vertices and then and then I was smoothing, auto smoothing or manual smoothing. You know what? I figured out at a later point that if you import OBJ files into 3ds Max with correct ticks, uh, like preserve smoothing groups, it's going to look like this. This is an element that's not welded to anything, which is probably not too great, because that's a lot of vertices. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. It's already 8 vertices, and 8 more here. And if I welded it, it's gonna to be just 4 here and 4 there, and they would be one and the same. And that's probably a lot less resource training on your computer, but you can just assign them to the smoothing group 1, which it does automatically. And since they are not, these vertices are not one and the same, it looks neat. And if you actually were bold and foolish to weld these ones, it's going to look not neat. It's going to have what we call smoothing errors. And actually it doesn't look like this. While it does look kinda neat, it has a couple of smoothing errors in there. But anyway, these 3 elements are not one and the same, but for some reason it shows them as smooth together. But if we were to detach this to some other element, which this would mean to this element, and it doesn't let me rename this thing. And if I detach it as a different element, it's going to show the actual smoothing, and it looks like this. So I don't have to do this unless I want to see the actual smoothing in 3ds Max. It's going to see the actual smoothing in the game though, so it doesn't matter in here. Anyway, we still have our lower receiver. So what are we going to do? It's we can either select the lower receiver and detach it, or we can, just to be safe, we can clone it. We can name it body lower. Let's hide everything we don't need, and let's start deleting the elements that don't meet our requirements for beauty. Okay, we look at this one. We can't be sure this is not an intended texture because it looks kinda alright-ish. It's probably not alright, but just to be sure, let's just create a material right away. Let's select our body lower, create a material in there, and call it lower. By the way, I forgot to do that. Diffuse color. I'm gonna find our lower receiver texture. It's also gonna be opaque, and show shaded material, and now assign material to selection. What we see now is the opposite of what we saw before, and now we can say that this is how it's supposed to look, and this is not how it's supposed to look. So we delete that as well. Now let's start removing the parts. This is definitely not okay, so let's just start with it right away. This is yep, this is not how it's supposed to look. And on the other side as well. That's a lot easier to see what's happening now. Body lower, yeah, that's going to be deleted as well. And let's just be more careful with these parts. These are definitely not textured, right? So we're just gonna select that, select this, select that, that, delete that, this little thing, that, this, that, also this, that. Oh, I've deleted something extra. I think it's probably not something extra, but we'll see about that later. That's a lot of, manual deletion of stuff. Oh, you better not select it like that because you might select something extra off screen that you actually have behind your camera. So be careful about that. Actually, for easier manipulation of this kind of stuff, you can just adjust scale and make it 10 times larger. Just don't forget to make it 10 times smaller after that. It kind of makes management easier. And what's that anyway? You know what? Now, oh my god, what have I done? You see this bold text? Oh my god, I have never saved since how many years ago? Since a lot of years ago. Actually, I don't care. Actually, I don't care because I have done pretty much nothing. Uh, you know what have I done? I have cloned it as an instance instead of a copy. If I clone it as a copy, I can delete as much stuff as I want and still have something left, and the other copy would be unaffected. But in this case, I've started deleting one thing and it also deleted the other copy, so I'm going to just scrap the whole thing, save it now, and import again. Body standards. I'm not going to import the bolt again and the cover. I just need body import, and it's gonna be untextured again, and I'm going to make it 10 times bigger right away, and I'm going to assign material to selection, in this case lower receiver, rename it to body lower. Now clone as a copy, make sure it's a copy, rookie mistake actually, and body upper, and assign a different material. This is scar upper, assign it to there. Yeah, that's our upper receiver. Hide the lower receiver for now. Actually, I was trying to look what this thing is, and this thing is what? This thing is part of the lower receiver. There is a kind of a hole, not a hole, but empty space in there. So yeah, that has to go too. Let me just delete some parts of the upper receiver from the lower element. Yeah, that's facing this direction because this is dark red and this is bright red, and this is our lower receiver. Yeah, this is not a part of our lower receiver. This rail is not part of our lower receiver. These can go, and this can go. It can go, and now we have a perfectly fine lower receiver. My god, what is this? This is not how a scar selector looks like. It's pointing nowhere, and well, it's actually pointing to where the full auto mode is supposed to be, but the textures, the letters on the texture are. This is supposed to be safe, This is supposed to be full auto, and between them a semi-auto, which is one. Wait, that's all right. Actually, screw that. Who cares? Me? Nah. All right. That's our lower receiver. We've done with that. Let's save. Let's save. Upper receiver, and let's just delete everything we have just agreed upon in our different model. This is a part of the upper receiver, so we're not touching that. Let's just carefully delete that. All these pesky little pieces. The peskiest ones at least. And now we can pretty much safely delete everything that goes below. And just checking if we have left something undesirable in there. I think not. I think we're done. Yep. You know what? Maybe the bolt handle was on there. Oh, by the way, scale it back. Yep, like this. The bolt handle is probably inverted because before the animation update it was there. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure, but oh, thank goodness. As you can see, there is no static shadow in there, but on the other side there is some static shadow. If you're going to grow up and become a video game designer, never do static shadows like this. This is bullshit, and you know who you are if you do that. That's just terrible. Come on, man. Okay, so now we know why this is inverted. And now we can do, you know what? We can just move this here and make it its rightful place in the world. Let's, oh no, flat color. Slightly clip in there. And center it like this. I think it's perfect. Yep, that's pretty much perfect. I like it. And now what we have decided on its rightful place, we're just gonna add a modifier called mirror. Mirror on the wall. Oh no, we're not going to use mirror yet. We are going to do what? We are going to affect pivot only and set it to 0, 0, 0. We are going to use the position of our receiver parts as 0, 0, 0, and this is also 0, 0, 0 now. We have positioned it just right. And now we're going to use the mirror modifier. Mirror by X axis, which is this axis. That's weird. Are you sure? I'm missing something, am I not? Oh yeah, this is not, the receiver is not centered, so okay. Let's center the receiver first. And to do that, we're going to see it from the top and see a part like this, which has the line, you know, in the middle. Sometimes it doesn't have one of those. we're going to select everything we have right now and move it like this and move it perfectly in the middle of this one. Zoom in, and this is great. Now we're going to affect pivot only and move it to 0. Now it's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Great. Perfect, great. Excellent. Now finally we can use our mirror modifier. Mirror. Yay. Now it's not sticking too deep in there. It also kind of lost the smoothing, but we can live with that. If we were to select it, it's perfectly fine. And it's now here, and it's no longer inside out. So yeah, that's how it's done, basically. We are going to do this with a modifier because, you know, if the original was there, so it's a modified one, so we use a modifier, right? You understand the logic behind this? You probably don't, but whatever. We are not here for the logic. Rail cover. Let's position this in a perfect way. Let's do this in a different mm, environment. Yeah, that's the word. Sort of like this, I think. I mean, if it goes it's a rail cover, it covers the rail. Is it supposed to be like this or much deeper? No, it's supposed to be much deeper. It's supposed to cover the rail, so sort of like this. Yep. And now for this position, yep, sort of like this. Looks great. Probably doesn't look too great, but okay. What's important is how it looks from there. What's important is how it looks from there, and from there it looks great. Yep. Let's save. Oh, okay. So far this has been fun, has it not? Let's select the medium barrel. Let's select all of them actually, and move them over there. This is gonna be very much fun. First things first. Let's unite these guys already. Position them perfectly over there, over each other. Yep, like this. And the short one as well. Ow, 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 ow. This one. Yep, perfect. Excellent. And now we can move all three over there. I don't know how deep it's supposed to go inside this, but I think that's fine. Or maybe we could take a look at some reference pictures. Actually, speaking of reference pictures, we are probably going to need both the in-game picture like this one, Eagle Heavy, and the actual defense courage reference. Okay, this is going to have a lot of 3D models, in-game pictures and whatnot. Where is everyone's favorite? I need this one, but in a very great CRUD, in a very large, you know. Okay, basically I can just tell it find me really large pictures. Is this fine? This is fine, I guess. It's not what I'm looking for. I was looking for this one. This is a really big one. This is what one of the pictures I've been using for drawing them in Flash. Oh, okay. This is how our barrel assembly looks like. It's not super deep in there. It's yeah, it's kind of like this. Maybe even stick out a bit. Maybe even like this. Yep. And what about the vertical positioning? The barrel should be in line with this rail, so it should go up like this. Yep. Now the barrel is in line with the rail cover, this thing, the ejection port that is nowhere to be found on the model, but at least it's textured. My god! The animation I'm going to use is kinda a show off when it comes to the ejection port. This is going to be bad. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Actually, I make crappy mod, so this is gonna be another crappy mod. Alright? And that's pretty nice. We have almost assembled our rifle. Well, let's continue importing stuff. Body standard rail extension. Rail extension. This is the fun part. Finally, we got there. Actually, is the barrel centered? I think it is. Why shouldn't it be centered? But let's check out anyway. The barrels are not centered. They are slightly off center because this part is slightly longer than this part, and they are not centered because of that. I'm going to just center it. Yeah, perfect. Now what about our rail? Let's hide the bodies for now. And oh, this is something I don't like because, you know, this line, I'll just assume that this is perfectly symmetrical and not touch anything in there. And let's just move it to its rightful place over there. It should be kinda over there. We'll see about that. Anyway, now we'll have a material to make. It's a rail extension. Paste. Rail ext. Show shaded material viewport. Opaque. And now we see this. Now we need to line this up somehow. It's probably gonna be easier from this side, where we can just line up these rail covers. You know what? Seeing this rail cover makes me rethink the position of this rail cover, because it's going to need to stick out more. No, more. Kinda like this. Now it doesn't really dig inside our rail. We can't see it from here, but believe me, it's true. It's much better this way. This rail is uncovered because the game's many gadgets go over there. And I'm going to make a pause if I remember which keys do that. No, it's not that. It's probably Alt.